CrossBoundary is a mission-driven investment firm. Our mission is to bring capital into underserved markets to create a sustainable impact on the world and to generate strong returns for investors. We got started in 2011, and our early work was in places like Afghanistan and Iraq and South Sudan. Over the last 11 years, we've now grown to be 24 offices and 200 people. So there's two sides of the business. There's the investment advisory side, which is all forms of transaction advisory. So we help investors find opportunities and deploy capital. We help companies prepare themselves and raise capital. We help third parties that want to bring investment into certain markets. And then we have a second component of the business, which is the investment management side. And under that, we've set up a number of investment platforms that we directly manage and bring capital into these markets.
I think what's great about CrossBoundary is we are working in underserved markets where normally there isn't much access to capital. And our main priority is bringing capital to these markets because we really believe there's strong businesses that need this capital and can really drive growth. And we do it through various different ways, one of which is through blended finance, where we bring both public and private capital together in order to give the kinds of money and capital that's needed in these markets for businesses to thrive.
So CrossBoundary's investment management platforms have really focused on identifying areas in the underserved markets in which we're working, where you have a bottleneck in capital flowing primarily into infrastructure type projects, and not only identifying that bottleneck, but creating projects to solve it. So really developing projects, implementing projects, and managing those projects as asset owners. And examples of that would include CrossBoundary Educational Infrastructure, which focuses on finding areas where you have students at university that don't have access to adequate housing and providing that housing to them. And we've started that in primarily Uganda and Kenya. You also have CrossBoundary Energy, who provides solar to businesses, and they've been doing that across the continent now as a market leader for almost a decade. And you also have CrossBoundary Access, which is the team that I work on. And we focus on closing the electrification gap in Africa, where you have 600 million people who don't have access to electricity. And so we do that primarily by financing, owning, and managing and operating mini grids to hundreds of communities across the continent.
So in 2013, the advisory business had got going and we were doing a lot of great work. We were working in South Sudan, visiting major industrial facilities. And because of the failure of the grid in South Sudan, they were running completely on diesel generators. And we saw that solar and storage could save them a lot of money, but it requires a large capital expenditure and it requires a lot of technical risk. We are providing cleaner, more reliable power directly to businesses, and doing it in Africa is also removing one of the major constraints on growth, self-reported by companies in the continent. We are now one of the largest providers of solar and storage and renewables generally to businesses on the continent.
So CrossBoundary Investment Advisory drives impact in a number of ways. The essence of what we do is to unlock the power of capital in underserved markets. The services that we offer span the investment process, whether it's identifying the investment thesis, whether it's helping a company develop its financial models, its pitch decks, its IMs, helping them engage with investors, go through the due diligence process, negotiate valuations, get to a term sheet, and be able to close a transaction.
So why do clients, partners, investors choose to work with CrossBoundary? It's for our strong, high caliber team. It's for the track record that we've built over the past 10 years and high integrity. For us, team has always been the main selling factor to clients, to investors, and to new team that enter the firm. We're already very broad across the world, so you're gonna see us deepen and grow larger and larger teams across those 6 continents.
80% of the people at CrossBoundary are fully based in the markets where we operate, and they're the ones bringing transactions and really driving impact in the firm.